Hey guys, welcome back for another round of My Collection Addiction. As I'm recording this, it is Monday, Labor Day, 9:30 a.m.-ish. So I've just got some coffee today, and I realized, it's a popular trend within the comics community right now, coffee and comics. So today we're going to open up my newest comic mystery box. Now, I know my last unboxing of the comic mystery box was only a few weeks ago, and that's because that box had actually been sitting around for a little while, and I wanted to get into it. And so this one right now is about the time that this box would typically show up every month. So it's just good timing that it happened on Labor Day weekend, and we're gonna sit down and crack into it. These things do come very well packaged. In a Gemini mailer, if you will. And every month, again, it comes with Dave's comic commentary. And this is a continuation of, and this is a listing of his top 5 favorite superheroes, starting with number 5 here, which would be Superman, number 5. I would also rank him as in the top 5 of superheroes, but not my personal top 5. Overall, I agree, but it's always a good read. Dave is the proprietor of the comic mystery box, so it's always just kind of a nice little add-on, a little personal note to go along with your collection that you're getting. Now, I will put right here the listing on cratejoy.com, what the comic mystery box listing looks like, because there's a couple there, but I did find that this one has like the best overall deal for just getting comics. I think some of them offer CGC comics as well for an obviously escalated price or whatever, but I'm just interested in the raw, ungraded books. And so this listing right here is the one that you're looking for. I will also put the details in the description below. It is also a thing in the frequently asked questions on that listing that if you are looking for a specific character or genre or publisher, to email them and let them know that in your future upcoming boxes, they will keep that in mind when, packing specific things in your monthly box. Now, my box itself, I don't have any requests because I have found that in every box, there's always something that I was just completely unaware that even existed, and something that I'm always kind of super hype about. Now, hopefully this month's box holds that trend as well, and we will see. But I'm always just so excited to get these boxes because it is one of the best mystery boxes of comics that I've ever gotten. So let's crack this guy open and see what we have inside. And so I'm opening this up now. I'm not going to look at my books, okay? This is going to be a weird unpackaging. I'm feeling it here. It comes in one of those giant bags that holds like 15 books. So it's in a giant like trade paperback size bag. And some of the comics are facing up, some of them are facing down. And so I'm trying not to look so that we are all seeing these comics for the same time together. Okay, all right. So I got it unpacked, it's sitting over here. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Let's get started. So I'm trying not to look here. I have them over here. And this is a thick book. Wow, starting out with a hefty one. I don't know what this is. This is, what does it say? Incoming? Incoming. I don't know what this is. Let's see here. Let's take a look. From 2020. So this was, after perusing through this book, this was kind of a start to the new storylines that were going to be popping up that year in Marvel Comics. One of them specifically being the Empire storyline that lasted for quite a while. So this is just kind of like their preview to what was happening that year. So, but this is a thick book, man. But I love this cover. You've got Captain, you've got the young Cable, you got Hulk, Ghost Rider, Nova, Captain Marvel. Like you have the who's who currently at this point in time of the Marvel universe right here on the cover. And this guy is thick. It's got a couple storylines in here starting out. So cool. All right, I'm gonna give it a read though. I don't really know what happened in Marvel during 2020, so it'll be a good primer for seeing if there's anything I need to go back and catch up on. And now we have Thanos 1? No, Thanos Legacy 1. Okay. Okay, so I have read this before. I don't have the physical copy. I have read this on my Comixology app, actually. And this is kind of a rundown of the story of Thanos, I think. And in this, I'm going to give some spoilers here for a second because it leads to something really kind of funny to me. This first issue here leads to the death of Thanos, the decapitation of Thanos, and it features one of my favorite Marvel characters ever, Cosmic Ghost Rider. And it kind of plays a weird pun of Cosmic Ghost Rider, who is Frank Castle in the future. He was, the Punisher, became the vengeance of the Spirit of Vengeance. Spirit of Vengeance, yes. And then became the Herald of Galactus afterwards. So he's the Cosmic Ghost Rider at this point in time. This takes place far, far, far into the future when Thanos has kind of conquered the universe. And somebody shows up, decapitates Thanos, and then Cosmic Ghost Rider, who's kind of been a slave to Thanos at this point in time, walks over and pees fire on Thanos's dead body. And it's so absurd, but it fits with the character as well. But that's why this issue in particular sticks out in my head. And now we have Extremists. Okay. I don't know anything about this book. I do see up here in the corner, it's the Age of X-Man storylines, which I never really paid attention to. This is the first issue, so it'll probably give some introductions on who these characters are. Okay. Ugh. Look at that Jubilee character design. That's awful. But you've got Psylocke, the Blob back there with the facial hair. Look at that. And then Iceman. Okay. Oh, I hate that Jubilee design. I don't know what that's about, but totally doesn't fit my idea of Jubilee. But okay. I don't know anything about the Age of X-Man because this is part of that period in time where I was just completely disinterested in the X titles whatsoever, and they were like shifting, I don't know, kind of realities and trying hard to reboot everything in different images, and I hated it all. But so, and obviously that Jubilee is a strong representation of what I just did not like about any of this. But it's an issue number 1. Cool. Okay, and now we have, oh, it's a Ghost Rider. Oh, look at that right there. On the Road with Wolverine. Oh man, is this a on the road motorcycle issue, a buddy motorcycle issue with Wolverine? That would be amazing. I would love that. Oh, just the last image right here. That's a great image. Who did this issue? I think I recognize the art as like Salvador LaRocca, maybe. Oh my God, I nailed it. Salvador LaRocca did the art, so there we go. Yeah, he's got kind of a definable art style. But yes, I dig it so much. Wolverine and Ghost Rider are going to be together in the upcoming Midnight Suns series, and I think it's a video game coming out. So it's a great duo, great team up. I like this. I don't have a lot of Ghost Rider comics, but I always just love the visual style of it all. So very cool. All right, and this one, oh, it's glossy stock. Maybe it's new. Let's see. What does that say? Charismagic. I don't know this book. I see it's from Aspen Comics. Now, the only things I know that really survived Aspen Comics was Fathom, which was done by Michael Turner, and Lady Mechanica by Joe Benitez. I think Michael Turner was kind of like the big running aspect of Aspen Comics, but unfortunately he died of cancer a number of years ago. So that I think Aspen Comics kind of collapsed after that. And so you don't, oh, hey, look, right here. There's Lady Mechanica on the back, as a matter of fact. That's funny. AspenStore.com. I wonder if that website is still up. I wonder if Aspen is still kind of selling stuff. But yeah, as far as I know, they're not around anymore after Michael Turner passed. You know, their money train kind of ran out, if you will. So yeah, I've never heard of this book before, but I'll check it out. Okay, and now we have Dark Wolverine. Okay, so this is Wolverine's son. I think he say his name Daken, D-A-K-E-N, Daken. He's got 2 claws on his hand, and then one that comes out of like his forearm. And yeah, he's Wolverine's son. Now, Dark Wolverine was during a time of Dark Avengers, where Norman Osborn got a hold of an Iron Man suit, and that's where the Iron Patriot suit kind of came from. And then you had Daken posing as Wolverine, you had Venom posing as Spider-Man, you had Moonstone posing as Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel, and you had, who else? Oh, you had Bullseye posing as Hawkeye. Yeah, so this was during a time, I think this was actually just the regular Wolverine title, because I don't think Dark Wolverine ran for 82 issues. So I think this was the regular Wolverine title, and then they started focusing on Daken as Wolverine, because that's what the public knew Wolverine as at the time. So I don't know a lot about the Dark Avengers storyline. I do know how it plays out and everything like that, but I don't know what happens in the meantime within the series. I do know that Siege was a huge storyline during that time period. So cool. I'm gonna enjoy reading this because I have not read a lot of Dark Wolverine related titles. All right, next issue is Captain America? No, Deadpool. Deadpool 31. All right. Admittedly, again, I have not read a lot of Deadpool issues, but I do see the emblem up here. That is during the, what do they call it, Secret Empire storyline that the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, took from the comics, where S.H.I.E.L.D. was secretly Hydra. And so you've got a mean-looking cap here, the Hydra cap, if you will, but you've got Deadpool, and it looks like Coulson, Agent Coulson over here in the corner. But yeah, this was the whole thing about how it was a shadow organization running S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole time. Hydra was behind it all, blah, blah, blah. And so it's fine, I guess. All right, and now we have Uncanny X-Men, Fear Itself. So this was a crazy storyline, Fear Itself, right? You have, I think the character was called the Serpent, claiming himself to be the true Highfather, all power of Asgard, if you will. I think it was Allfather, the Allfather of Asgard. And so he goes to Earth and sends all the Asgardians back to Asgard so that the Earthlings have to fend for themselves. And the Serpent himself feeds on fear, if you will. So he starts spreading fear throughout the entire world and getting more powerful and stronger. And one of the crazy aspects is he gets some of the bigger brutes of the Marvel universe and gives them their own like hammers to spread fear throughout the world, you know, like Juggernaut and Hulk and Titania, who was the villain busting into the courtroom in the first episode of She-Hulk. If you haven't seen that yet. Yeah, such a crazy storyline. Fear Itself. It's definitely worth checking out if you find it on maybe Comixology. I think you can find a lot of that, or in trade paperback form. I to be honest, I think there's like Fear Itself. I think is like 10 volumes long or something like that. So if you want to go the easy route, look for it digitally online. Okay, so I just happened to glance down, and now the other half of these books are facing down, so I can actually look down. This is the part that I love, where we play the guessing game based on what's on the back of the book. So this is a Iron Man 3 Extreme Tech for Every Battle. Is this a maquette? Is this a figure? Iron Man 3, when was that? 2012 or so? Iron Man 3, 2012, 13 maybe? Let's see here. Okay, check out this Avengers cover. It's a very symbolic cover. Is that bear green? I can't tell. Is that green? So you got a green hulking bear, if you will. Bald eagle for Captain America. And then the goat holding Thor's hammer. Now, I have not seen the new Thor movie. This is coming out, and I'm doing this before the new Thor movie is on Disney Plus for Disney Plus Day. From what I understand, the goats make an appearance in the movie. So that's very appropriate. And so let's find out what year this actually came out, right? So it came out in 2014. So, okay. All right, that's a cool cover. I've never seen this cover anywhere before. So I dig it. I dig it. Okay, and now based on this ad, I have no idea what year this came out in. 5 gum, 5 RPM, relaxing mint flavor. I remember these commercials but I couldn't tell you what year this was because I think they ran for like decades, if you will, or at least like a decade. So it could be anywhere from like 1996 to 2006. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So let's see here. Oh, Green Lantern #9. Drowning in the Madness of Black Hand. So I have to admit, obviously, like I've said before, I've never really read Green Lantern books, but I do know the Black Hand character really, really brought some darkness to this book. Because at one point in time, you had like the black power ring that the Black Hand had, and was like raising dead characters as to be like Black Lanterns. And that's when I really started getting familiar with like, there's more than the Green Lanterns. There's more than the Yellow Lanterns. There's like indigo and violet and red and blue and probably more that I can't remember. But yeah, it really opened my eyes to the fact that there's a whole color spectrum of lanterns out there representing different aspects. So I like the Black Hand character in general. So this is I dig it. Okay, so on the back here is Avengers Endgame soundtrack. I love how Spotify puts these little, like if you scan that, Spotify will open the soundtrack automatically. I like that. So Avengers Endgame 2018, 19? I think it was 2019. So I'm going to take that guess on the era of this book, obviously. And that is, Fallen Angels. I actually have this book. This is a thick storyline. This was just a mini series. I think it ran for maybe 4 issues or so, but it had Cable in it. See the young Cable down there? I picked it up because it had Cable in it, and X-23, and obviously Psylocke over here. The 3 of them as the Fallen Angels. And honestly, this was, every bit of 3 or 4 years ago. I can't even remember what the storyline was about, but I did appreciate the artwork in this. This is part of that whole new House of X thing that had been happening, Powers of X, and I think that's why I got into it. But yeah, the artwork was kind of dark and gritty a little bit, kind of interesting. So yeah, but this is a thick book. It's a thick format book. All right, now this one is brand new because it's got the Lego Skywalker Saga ad on the back that we had one of these in the last box as well. So this is going to be a very fresh, very new book right here. Let's see here. The Variants, a Jessica Jones mystery by Gail Simone. Oh, and it's a Phil Noto cover. I mentioned his covers on the last episode that I did. So the Variants. So obviously those are different versions of Jessica Jones, as she has had a very varied career in the Marvel universe. So this is fresh. This is very brand new. Like, let's see here. August 2022, so super duper fresh. I have no idea. Obviously, maybe this is like a multiverse book. I couldn't tell you yet because it's just fresh off the presses. All right, and it looks like we have Detective Pikachu on the back here. And so that was only a couple years ago. That was almost right before the pandemic. So I want to say like 2019 as well. So let's see here. Oh, DC Comics Deceased. Man, that is a Greg Capullo cover if I have ever seen one. I dig it. So the thing about the Deceased series, it actually is still kind of has a couple spin-off series that are still happening right now, I think, a couple years later. So this like technovirus came to Earth and started infecting people and kind of turning them into zombies almost, just like raging, killing creatures. And so hence the Deceased. So you might have seen a lot of covers of like zombie versions of famous DC characters as well. So this is issue number 1. Very cool. This is a good get right here. All right, and seeing is believing. We've got kind of a sultry Laura Croft back here. Did they purposely try to keep her looking outdated, like the blocky images that she had her beginnings with? Tomb Raider Legend. I want to say this was. Oh man, I'm not even sure. I'm familiar with the newer PlayStation versions of the Tomb Raider game, so I don't even know when Legends came out. But I'm going to say 2010, 2009 maybe. Had to be a little while ago. Oh man. So 52, number 1. I think I was a little bit off on this. Oh yeah, 2006 on the cover there. So this is issue 1 of 52, not to be confused with the new 52 series of DC lines that came out. This was 52 itself. So this storyline takes place after the year that is kind of empty in the DC continuity after the Infinity Crisis happened. So this week 1 right here, this came out weekly for 52 weeks. This came out weekly, and you were spending $2.50. So what's the math on that? $2.50 times 52. You know, you're spending you're spending over $100 just to collect this series right here. But it was a new issue every single week, and this is a cool cover. I like this. But issue number 1 here, and this series itself actually had some key things happen in it that I've collected. You had the first Kathy Kane, the first Batwoman. You had the resurgence of ISIS in this series. There are a couple other things that happen in this series as well that are actually a couple good keys to go collect. But very cool. I've never had issue 1. At one point in time, I thought about making it a prolonged kind of hunt, if you will, to collect all 52 issues, you know, while I'm just out looking around, because they're fairly readily available. But this is a good start, and the key issues that I already have, maybe I'll continue working on that. All right, now I have one book left, and this is an oldie. This is an oldie, and it's kind of a thick. I'm not like thick, but it's dense. So it's I feel like it might be gimmick enhanced, if you will. So let's take a look here. Spider-Man and the X-Men. This game sucked, okay? But at the time, we didn't have a lot of Spider-Man games. We didn't have a lot of X-Men games. So people were just playing this game because it was giving us what we couldn't get anywhere else. But it was one of those times where, you know, you played Nintendo games not knowing that they sucked. You just thought that they were hard, right? So this has to be 91 maybe? Let's see here. Bloodshot number 1. You guys, this book right here is the first chromium enhanced cover ever and it was by Valiant Comics. Valiant later got bought by the video game company Acclaim so that they could start using their titles in video games like Turok, Shadow Man, Bloodshot here. I think it's kind of underrated. This looks like, I think this is well known for being a Barry Windsor Smith cover. There is a BWS right here. And I think there is a centerfold in here as well with a better look of the art. Yes, there it is right there. Very cool. So Bloodshot is, I think, an underrated character. Do yourself a favor. Do not go watch the Vin Diesel movie, because that was a piece of crap. Like I've said before, I will be an apologist for the Green Lantern movie, for the Jonah Hex movie. The Bloodshot movie was garbage. Okay, so if that says anything about my feelings on how just awful this movie is. But the character itself, great concept. You know, it has a lot. It's almost Punisher-esque, if you will. So this is a good final one. Nothing extremely amazing in today's box, but some stuff that I definitely want to check out. And I'm not dissatisfied with it. Some things I already had, but that happens after, you know, collecting comics for 30 years. You can't expect every box to be full of completely fresh items you've never had before. So that was today's box. If you see anything that you might have been interested in that maybe I was not interested in, but you want to convince me otherwise, feel free to hit me up. Once again, the Instagram right here, Marvelous TNG. And you can also find me on Twitter at the same, Marvelous TNG, and find us on Facebook as well. And if you just want to continue the conversation about comics, feel free to hit me up, especially down here in the comments. I love chatting with you guys down here in the comments. So until I talk to you guys in a couple weeks, we're going to California next week, so I won't be around. So I'll hit you guys up in another 2 weeks or so, and we'll continue exploring my collection addiction. All right, guys, until I talk to you soon, take care of each other.